first things first, consider what browser you are using. I typically use Chrome, and I have had some luck with Firefox, but it's a really good plan to double check your browser before you're doing all these things. Mine looks a little weird right now because I wanted the student view to show, but what I've done is I've logged on to Blackboard, and then I went into our class. So now I'm going to go to discussions, and I'm going to pick one I get to. It shows us nothing is red. But I'm going to pick one down here that's separate that no one's been in yet. I'm going to go in to create a thread. So you can obviously do that in any discussion. And if you have any issues with these, you can talk to your instructor because I can edit and I can delete. I believe you can edit, but you should check that. So we'll walk through those things today. So I clicked on the create a thread, and I have to do the usual, like I need a subject and all testing. We're going to throw that in. So there are lots of options, obviously. You can do all kinds of different things with your typing and all that good stuff. So usually I type my note to students. So I might say like, hi student, and then I leave some space, and then my very original send-off, which is always the same. So I do this little space in here because that is where it's going to put my video. And I also get to choose the size of my video. It usually comes whatever the width of this page is. Like so we have this line here and this line here, and it usually just comes in as that wide. But you can grab the corners and sort of make it smaller if you'd like. So if you want to, you can go into Kaltura. You can, whatever computer you have, you can download a copy of Kaltura, and you can use that copy on your computer itself. I personally don't do that. So what I do, because I want all of that to be on the system, is I go here to the circle with the plus sign, and I add content. That honestly looked like a screwdriver to me. I've been working too much. Okay, so as you know, you have your common things like local files and all. Well, I'm going to scroll to the additional tools. I'm going to click on Kaltura Media. So when I do that, I can do things like grab a video that I made on my desktop using the Kaltura app if I would like. But I'm going to do the simple version. So I'm going to wait while it opens up a system. Depending on your internet connection, this can be a little bit of time, and sometimes it can be slow uploading. So when I want to add something new, I'm going to go over here to the far right side, and obviously, as you can see, like if you had something that you'd uploaded or that you wanted to, you could search for it, things like that. But I'm going to go to add new. And of course, this is the sort of spot media upload or Kaltura capture are going to come from you using the app and then coming in from it. But I'm going to go here to Express Capture, the second option. Let's see if it'll work to show my face while I'm recording my screen. Let's see what happens. There we are. Yay! Okay, so as you'll immediately notice, I look wild. Okay, so as you'll notice, the lighting is bad. So please don't stress about that kind of stuff because I'm online so much. I have things like these, YouTuber fancy lights. And I do that sort of thing because you never know what the lighting's going to be like. So let me plug that in and I'll show you just how different you can look with a ring light. But please don't stress about it because this is like a whole investment that I made just because I do videos for classes. So, but you can see that's really, really different. I also, let's see, there's that. I also have stands that I use so that I can pop it up higher and be seen. A lot of stuff you can use books, you can use lamps, but in general, unless don't be making $20 and $30 investments and all of this stuff when you're just doing it, for a video or two. I made plenty of good videos with just sort of, getting a lamp near me and all of that. So you probably won't have all of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this video, and it gives us some options of like how we want to look at that video, what our microphone is. Mine is set up, so I'm just going to press the red button. It gives you a chance to see what you're going to do, and then it's going to start the recording. And obviously you can go as long as you want. So let's pause it. Let's stop it. Then what it's going to do is be like, okay, did you like it? Do you want to record again? Do you want to just punch that button fast? Do you want to use it, or do you want to download a copy of it? So If you have a really slow internet connection, I would encourage you to download it, because there are times when I've made a video for class and because my internet was being fussy, I lose it in sort of the space between, as it were. That hasn't happened often. I mean, honestly, it's been like 5 years and I've lost like maybe 2 that way. So it's not like this pressing concern, but if you have a lot of trouble with your internet, you may want to download the Kaltura app, or when you do this here, download a copy. So usually what I do is just say use this. But what I can do is say record again, and it's just going to bring me right back here. That last 5-second video is gone, and we try again. Hello, testing, testing, testing. And then what I'm going to do with that new sample is I'm going to say use this. It's going to give me another screen. So it's going to set me up with like time. So I generally name them, just because how am I going to remember? It's sort of like screenshots where it says, you know, what day it is and stuff. And then you're like, that doesn't help me. It doesn't help me find it. So we're going to do test. I usually name them by class, to be honest, because it's a really good way to find them. And then you can decide, do you want to put different things in the description? Do you want to add tags? You can do any and all of that. The only one that I generally click on is that I want machine captions for closed captioning. But again, it's not something you have to do. That's an option. I often put a delete time on it. But again, you don't have to do anything. You can simply say save and embed. I choose titles just so that if things go wonky, I can try to find it. And I make a couple of choices, but they're really not important. You don't really have to do any of those. If you would like it to be sort of more accessible, you could describe it. You know, these are all options to pursue if you really, really want to. I do want to talk about publishing status. I used to think that if I said private, it meant that only I could see it, right? It says media page will be visible to the content owner only. And I thought, well, obviously I want you to see it, so if it's only for me. Well, what it means is not that, so I messed up a lot of videos. What that means is that I'm the only one who can share it. I'm the only one who can go into the media space, do a search for creative writing 304 test, and find and use this copy. If I do it as published, it means that like those links I sent you that show tutorials and things, those are all public. Everyone can see them. They're on any media page, and I can even embed them myself. I can say, oh, that's a great tutorial. I'm going to embed it in class for my students. So private just means that I'm sort of owning the rights, as it were. I could save it and just go about my business, and then later I can go in and grab it. But generally I don't do that. I go over here to save and embed, and then we're going to give it some time. So remember, it needed time there and it needed time here. Generally it's a lot. You know, you've got 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 minutes, but in our case it was fast because it was so short. So you'll notice that it came in really big. So what you do is you tap it just once, and that will give you these blue lines. And if you grab a corner and you wiggle it, and now the whole video is there. You'll notice that the video is not actually there right now, like you're not seeing it. Sometimes it's doing an upload, and so it's sort of in process. Very rarely is that a problem. Within 5 to 10 minutes, it's usually up and ready to go. Then I can submit it, or I can save it as a draft. So I'm going to try submitting it. And so it's made my post. Now let's go play with my post and see what happened. There we are. So as you can tell, it was a short video, immediately online. It could take, 5 to 10 minutes depending on the length of it and the Wi-Fi capability or the internet capability. I do have a few issues when I make really big ones, but in general, it's still just, about giving it a little bit of time. I also wanted to show you this. So you don't get all the buttons I get, so you don't get the delete button, but you do have an edit button. It's often sort of hidden, and you need to run your mouse down at the bottom of a post, and then these show up and I can edit it or reply and all that. I'm doing it as a student, so it's not letting me in. But these are great ways that you can utilize the discussion board a little bit more. So now we have that there. I will go in not as a student, as it said, it's a preview user, and delete it. But remember, we're just going in. We can do it as a reply. We can do it anywhere. We're looking for this plus sign. It's the last item. So it doesn't matter how I do my screen. So if I do my screen like super squished, it's still going to show up as the last item on the list. And so that's the one we're looking for, that little sort of plus sign, a little cross in there. And anytime we click on it, we're going to go to the fourth item, the second one under additional tools. We're going to click on that Kaltura media, and we're getting some, hi, thanks for the audio, Matilda. We're getting some help. And as you can see, it's the video I've already recorded is there, or I could add a new one. And I go to that Express Capture, which is going to give me the shorthand one. Well, do you want to come over and be in a video then, Tilly? Maybe she does. Okay, and then it gives you a 3-second startup. There's our video. And then again, we can use it. I'm not going to do anything this time. I'm just going to leave it. It uploaded. I'm not going to touch any of those buttons because you don't have to. And then I'm just going to wait for this to turn blue once that's green, and I will embed it. So as you saw originally, I put some different info in there, and you don't have to do any of that. You can just press the button, wait 3 seconds, it'll start recording you. You don't have to alter the size of the video. You don't have to do any of those things. If I tap it and I grab a blue corner, I can, but there is no requirement to do that kind of stuff. So now we have 2 videos. And again, if we go out of it, we'll probably see it. And then when we click on it, we now have 2 videos. And it's taking it a second to upload. So hopefully that makes some sense. Check for other sort of longer tutorials on media space and have some fun exploring it. Remember things like the lighting and stuff, do your best, but please don't stress about it. And genuinely, I've done things like put my phone, I've hung it on my laptop, and I've put the flashlight on to highlight my face when I was in a dark room. You can do any of those things you like, but also please don't feel like you have to. Obviously, we're practicing things, and if it looks a little dark and stuff, please just know that that's absolutely part of it. There are lots of things to learn about lighting and about sound, and I have spent a lot of time doing that, and I'm still not very good, but you can learn all that stuff if you want, and you can definitely ask me for tips from what I've studied, but just know that you're trying it, you're previewing it, you're testing all of these things out. I want you to have hopefully a little bit of fun while you're tackling it all. So try your best and see what happens, and don't be upset if it's a little dark or a little grainy or any of that stuff happens. You're doing great to make a video online. That's amazing.